Hi guys, welcome to the video walkthrough of our 2026 planners. So this year we have 4 designs for you to choose from, and I'm going to tell you all about the different features inside them, what we've improved from last year, and of course how to choose the right planner for you. So let's get started. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming for you to choose the right one, so to just break it down, we have 2 different weekly layouts, and then for each weekly layout you can choose the size that you prefer. So you can see we have 2 different cover designs. Each of this cover design has a different weekly layout. So the first design we have is called Over the Hills, and this is the one that has the spacious weekly layout. We have these big boxes for every single day, and we also have a colored subsection on the side for you to write down like your personal to-dos or your reminders or your events, just things that you want to keep away from your to-do list. And then the second design we have is called By the Water. So this is the one that has our classic signature Halloumi weekly to-do list layout that we developed ourselves and we've improved over the years based on feedback from you guys. So we do still have the daily boxes, but they are much smaller compared to Over the Hills. And the magic of it is in this weekly to-do list on the right. So this is where you can put tasks that maybe take several days to do, or have a longer deadline, a more flexible deadline, or if it's something that you haven't quite allocated which day you want to work on it, you can just dump it all in the weekly to-do list. And one more thing is, if you do have our 2025 planners and you're looking to get back the same weekly layout, just to spell it out really clearly for you, if you used Coastline last year, you're going to be looking at Over the Hills. And if you used Beachfront last year, you're going to be looking at By the Water. So once you've chosen which weekly layout works for you, you can then choose what size you want. So these are the 2 sizes that we have. This is called regular. So if you have been with us for a couple of years, you will be very familiar with our A5 sized planners. So this is exactly the same as we had for our 2025 planners, and this is half of an A4 sheet. So the regular planner, which is A5 size, is a hardcover planner. So you can see you can't bend it, and it also has a reinforced spine. So this prevents it from getting creased or folded because you keep opening your planner. And then this year we introduced the mini size. So for comparison, this is A5 and the mini is a B6 size. And it is also a soft cover. So you can see you can bend this, and it is basically a leather sleeve that they slip over the main pages of the book itself. So it is detachable, but on the inside it is just like plain ugly cardboard, so don't remove it, but just to show you guys what it is like. So this year is the first year we have the mini, and it's because some of you have asked for a planner that is lighter and less bulky to bring around. If you're someone who needs more writing space and you don't really mind the weight, or you are really just leaving your planner at home, in school or in office, then you can look at our regular size. But if you're someone who is bringing your planner around with you everywhere, or you don't need that much space, then you can look at getting our mini planner, which is the soft cover. So it is much lighter than our regular planner. Another thing is, I know last year we had the choice of white paper versus cream paper. So this year we don't have that anymore. All our planners are coming in white paper, so you don't have to make that choice anymore. So I also want to talk about the design itself. So this year has actually been kind of a big leap for me personally as a designer, because it's the first year that I have moved away from the flat vector style design that you guys might know our brand for. So I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but we do have this kind of more realistic texture watercolor style. So this is painted on my iPad on Procreate, and it is just a big shift away from kind of the cleaner, more minimalist vector style illustration that I used to do. So this year I really debated about it for so long. I asked all my friends, like, do you think my customers would still like the brand if we moved away from like the flat clean style? And I'm so glad I did, because I think they turned out really nice. So that is for the outside. They are all nature inspired, and they are scenes that I've seen on some of my holidays. So this By the Water cover was actually inspired by this beautiful lake I saw in Tasmania. It was near sundown, so it was like still and so peaceful and so beautiful, and I wanted to recreate that moment of peace for this cover. And then for Over the Hills, it is just about having that sense of going on like a road trip before going on an adventure, and you are in your little car, in your little camper van, and just looking at nature just expand before you, and I really love that. So that is for Over the Hills. And then for the inner designs, they're exactly the same for all 4 planners. We do still have our flat clean graphics if that's what you like. So we have our pastel colors, of course, and we have just little graphics of houses and mountains and flowers. And this year also improved such that I am breaking down each quarter to have its own color. So last year we did 3 different color themes and then we were cycling through them like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this year I'm doing like Q1 is a green color with its own design, and then Q2 is a blue, Q3 is pink, and Q4 is orange. So this was actually a suggestion from one of you guys that was suggesting to break it up in terms of quarters instead of cycling through them. That way you also have clearer visual indications of like different quarters of the year, and you're also not getting sick of the same design throughout the entire year, which I thought was a really good idea. So we have incorporated that into this year's planner designs. So now let's talk about the hardware of the planners. So let me show you. So I'm first going to talk about all of the similarities between the regular and the mini in terms of hardware features. So firstly, we do have our thread sewn lay flat binding. So I know this is really important to most of you because it helps you to just write more comfortably. So we do have this for both the regular and the mini versions. And then secondly, we have our ribbon bookmarks. So we have them in 2 different colors for you, and this is so that you can mark one out on your monthly spread, you can mark the other one out on your weekly spread, and it's easy for you to just pick out the correct one when your book is closed. And then something else that you guys really loved from last year that we have kept is our monthly die cut tabs. So this helps you to get to the month that you want to go to really easily. So these are not the ones that stick out from the side of your planners, which may get damaged pretty easily. These are die cut straight into the pages itself, so you don't have that problem of like folding them or banging them around. So now let's talk about what are the differences between the regular and the mini. So for the regular, we have the PU leather. So this is upgraded from last year where we had the fabric cover. So our 2025 planner had this fabric cover, and the feedback from you guys was that you wanted something that was more resistant to water, more resistant to stains. So that's what we have this year, which we used for our undated planners as well, and you guys really loved it. So this is a PU leather that is printed on, and we also have this beautiful debossed logo at the back. This is our new logo, which I really love. And so this is the hardcover, and we also have a reinforced spine as well. So the regular is a hardcover and the mini is a soft cover. So this can be bent like this, and it is basically a leather sleeve. So one other difference that we have is that the regular has an expandable back pocket at the back. So this is where you will find the stickers. You can keep like your mementos, your photos, your receipts, everything into this expandable pocket. But because of the soft cover of the mini, we don't have an expandable back pocket. So you will find your free stickers just slot into the leather sleeve itself. So just something to take note, if you are someone who kind of carries around like a bunch of stickers or a bunch of other materials with you, you might want to go for the A5 instead so that you can have the expandable back pocket. And now the one that you guys love, we're going to talk about our stickers. So you can see this year we have upgraded to this transparent PVC material. These are the ones you will be getting for free with all your planners. So the first one is our essential sticker sheet. So over here we have things like it's my birthday, we have different cakes and birthday presents to mark out other people's birthdays. And then we also have remember, important, and this year we've added on these priority stickers. Then we also have a bunch of different moods and then some decorative washi tape. And then secondly, we have our ships sticker sheet. So here we have little ribbon bookmarks, which I really love because they're super cute. And then I also wanted to improve on this sticker sheet so that we can take advantage of this transparent material. So I have used this really pretty thin little lines that we couldn't achieve with like non-transparent ones because it wouldn't have the same effect. So little squiggles, and then we have heart shapes, hearts, and then also little sparkles. Lastly, we also have our Singapore Public Holiday stickers. So this year I've also made them smaller so that they don't take up as much space on your monthly spread, because I know the boxes are small, especially for the B6 months. So you can see this is what they look like. So So now we can finally talk about all of the thoughtful features inside our 2026 planners. So whatever I talk about, they're going to be exactly the same for all 4 planners, but if there are any differences, I will point it out, and that is really just for the weekly layout spread. Everything else is exactly the same, but of course the mini version is gonna be a bit smaller than the regular versions. So on the first page, when you flip open your planner, you will basically just have a name page, and you can put this planner belongs to blah blah blah. If you want, you can also put your contact number in case you ever tragedy occurs, lose your planner, and then people can just refer to that. And then you go to the next page, we have a year at a glance 2026 calendar. So as always, our entire planner, we start on Mondays, and we also have our week numbers over here on the left side. So this is really useful for you if you work in an industry where you do refer to these week numbers. Maybe you work in finance or as a teacher, you will find this pretty useful. And our weekends are bolded. So now we go into our next page, and on the left we have our yearly resolutions. So we have space for 4 empty slots. Let me just show you an empty page. So all these headers are empty, and you can just fill it out as you like. So for me, I would always go with personal, work, health or fitness, and then finances. And then underneath it, you can write as many or as few as you want. Some people like to draw. Some people like to write in bullet points. So just set yourself some realistic but aspirational goals for the new year. And then on the right, we have favorite moments, which is always one of my favorite features, because it's just a really nice way to reflect at the end of the year. So as the year passes and some of your favorite things happen, maybe you have some highlights of the month, you can just come in here and write it over here. So maybe in January you had a birthday dinner, maybe in February you had a really nice family gathering. You can just jot them down here as they happen, and then at the end of the year, on 31st December, when you're doing your year-end reflections, you can just flip back here and look back on the wonderful year you've had, and it's just a super positive, nice way to end the year. And next we have our empty logs. So over here you can see the header is blank. This is really for you to track anything you want. So maybe you are someone who likes to read, you can track the books you've read. But of course with a reading journal, so if you are someone who really likes to read, you can check that out. But you can track things like books you've read. For me, I like to track like coffee or matcha or desserts I've tried from different cafes. So you can just put down, for example, the title and the author, the date that you read it, and then the rating that you give it. So it's a very nice like reference sheet for you. So of course for the mini one, we have a little bit less space. So we have just 26 rows, but then for the regular one, we have 32 rows. So another thing to note is that last year we did give you 4 of these pages, but based on your feedback, I have decided to bring back our 12-month overview. So this is a whole roller coaster, because the year before we had this, and then the feedback was to take it away, and then on 2025 planners I took it away, and then you guys wanted it back. So here we are with our 12-month overview. So let's see how you guys feel this time. So it was dearly missed apparently by a portion of you guys. So this is basically a 12-month overview. So you have the 12 months over here, all the dates of the month, and you can just write in your big picture plan. So for example, you have a vacation plan, you can mark it out over here. Anything that kind of like gives you a view of how your year is gonna go. Maybe you have like a period of leave, maybe you have certain busy periods, you can mark them out here. So it's super easy to reference at one glance. And this is what it looks like for the mini planner. It's the same, it's just smaller. And then next we have our monthly spread. So our monthly spread looks like this. So as I mentioned before, we have different like design themes every quarter. So this is the first quarter, this is the second quarter, third quarter, and then the fourth quarter. So you do have like a little different design motif, different color theme as the year goes by, so you're not getting bored looking at like the exact same design for the entire year. Yeah, so this one I've already gone in and like decorated it and filled it in a bit so you can kind of see how to use it. So we have the week numbers on the left. These are printed small over here, so if it is something you reference, you'll find this very useful. We start on Mondays, and then our weekends are all highlighted, so you have a very clear indication of the weekdays and the weekends just at one glance. And then we also have notes column over here, and these are all aligned together with the weeks, so you can also use this as like general weekly reminders. So for example, I know in this week I need to start looking for my mom's present, or in this week I need to go to the library. stuff like that. And I've also decorated it with our cute planner stickers. So something new I have also improved on is that for months that spread out over 6 weeks instead of the typical 5 weeks, this time around I have given the 6th week its own row. So in the past, for example, you look at 2025, if they were to spread out over 6 weeks, I would kind of merge the first and the last week together, which is really standard practice for a lot of planner brands. But based on feedback and a lot of confused DMs I have gotten, this time around I have given each week its own row. So it does give us a little bit less space if you have 6 weeks in that month, but other than that, I think it is a bit less confusing for you guys. And then just comparing between the regular and the mini version so you can see how much space each size gives you. Yeah, okay, and then moving on, we have our monthly mindfulness log. So this is something that is very special to Helumi and that you guys love. These are features that we have curated and improved on over the years so that we cut it down to just the mindfulness features that you guys will actually use and that you guys appreciate as well. So on the left here, we have our monthly goals. So we have space for 3 monthly goals. You can see you can write each one in one of these colored boxes. And then at the end of the month, you can come back and reflect on how you did for that goal. So for example, the goal is I want to exercise 3 times a week and I want to look for a good gym with blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the month, I can be like, oh yes, I did manage to exercise 3 times a week or I didn't. And then we can kind of reflect on how this goal went and maybe do we want to continue with it next month or do we want to realign ourselves with another goal. And then on the right, we have a habit tracker. So if you are someone who likes to constantly improve on yourself, maybe there are habits that you're trying to build up or habits you're trying to break, this will be very helpful for you. So you have space to write down 8 habits on the top. So maybe exercise, journaling, reading, and then on the column down here, it's all the dates of the month. So for every day that you complete that habit, you can just check it off. And at the end of the month, you have a really nice indication of how you're doing for that particular habit. And then on the right, I have some very simple monthly reflections. So we have highlight of the month, and then we also have what I'm looking forward to next month. So just a couple of words over here to sum up your month. And then at the bottom, we have a daily gratitude log and a daily mood log. So once again, all the dates are down here. And then every day you can put in a one-liner about something you're thankful for that day. And then also check off your mood on a scale of sad to happy. And I always make it a point to align the dates for the habit tracker together with the gratitude log and the mood log. That way you can start to spot trends across the row between your habits and your mood. So maybe you see that on the days that you exercise, your mood tends to be better. And then on the days that you don't sleep enough, maybe your mood tends to be worse. And now we're moving on to maybe the most important part of the video, which is understanding the differences between the 2 weekly layouts. So this is different between the 2 designs. The one I have at the bottom is Over the Hills Weekly Planner. And the one that I have on top is By the Water Weekly To-Do List Planner. So I'll just go through each of them and help you understand which is good for you. So for Over the Hills Weekly Planner, this is the one that has the big spacious daily boxes. So you can see we have one huge box every single day. You have space for quite a few tasks that you can work on during the day, and you also have a colored subsection over here. So this is good for you if you tend to have smaller tasks that you work on during the day and that you also can complete within the day. So maybe you have 8 to 10 tasks that you're working on every day. So this is for the regular one. For the mini one, you can see you have a bit less space. So just take note of that. So how people like to use it is to use the bigger section for their work or school to-dos, and then to use the colored subsection for their personal to-dos or their reminders or their events. So maybe your personal to-dos like pay credit card bills, or you want to put down your exercise class. I've also heard of people using it for like their meal tracking or their workout tracking. So anything to just give it like a special spot away from your to-do list. And then now for the weekly layouts of By the Water. So on the weekly layout, we do still have our daily boxes, but they are significantly smaller compared to the other design. And then on the right, we have our weekly to-do list. So the magic of the weekly to-do list is that it gives you a place to put down tasks that are maybe more flexible or bigger that you don't want to confine within a certain day. So the way this works is that you can write out your task over here. And then on the right, you can see we have assigned to over here. So we have one column for each day of the week. And you can just color in or check off the day that you want to work on this task. And then when you're done, you can just check it off. So this is really good for you if you tend to have these 3 types of tasks. Firstly, if you have tasks that are kind of bigger or takes multiple days to finish. So maybe you have a monthly report that's going to take 3 days to finish. you can write it down here and then just color in the days that you are going to work on it. And the second type of task that this is really good for is if you have kind of longer and more flexible deadlines. So maybe you need to finish something by Friday. You can just dump it here in a weekly to-do list without having to assign it to any particular day. And then lastly, it is really good for if you have daily recurring tasks. So maybe you're a social media manager and you need to post on social media every single day. You can write it down here and then color it off on every single day that you complete the task. So for these three types of tasks, having a weekly to-do list prevents you from having to rewrite it over and over again on the daily boxes if you were to use this layout. So I hope that makes it clear for you. And then if you do have any urgent or ad hoc tasks that pop up, you can always write it down on the smaller daily boxes. So maybe on this day you need to send the name cards to print by 3 p.m. You can just jot it down over here instead of cluttering up your weekly to-do list, which is meant more for like flexible and bigger tasks. So just to recap, if you tend to have multiple smaller tasks that you work on during a day, then I would recommend you to get the over the hills layout. But if you tend to have bigger, more flexible tasks that you're working on throughout the week, then I would recommend for you to get by the water. So other than the layout of the weekly spread, all the other features on this spread are exactly the same. So we have week numbers that are printed on the top left-hand corner on the tab. And then we also have a yearly progress bar. So this is something that I've not seen other planner brands do. And this basically shows you how much of the year has already passed. So if you look at the bottom while I do a quick flip through, you can see that the yearly progress bar is growing, and it is basically just kind of reminding you that time is passing and to keep working on your goals. So yeah, it's a little cute feature that you guys really like as well from our user feedback surveys. And then we also have a little note section over here at the bottom for you to just jot down any random notes you might have that don't fit into the weekly layout. We have also upgraded our weekly reflection section. So this year, we have this new 5-star system for you to rate your week. So you can rate it from 1 to 5 stars. And I've also improved on the one-liner weekly reflection prompt. So we have given it a bigger space over here, so you have a bit more space to put a few lines. And we have 10 of these different reflection prompts, and we cycle through them every week. So you can see you're not getting the same one every single week. And then right at the bottom, we have our inspirational quotes. So we have a different one every week as well. So we have 53 of this in the entire planner, just to keep you going and keep you inspired. And that is the weekly layout. So how it is laid out is that in a month, we start with the monthly spread, and then we go on to the monthly mindfulness log. So this is where we have all the mindfulness features. Then we go to 4 to 5 weekly pages, depending on the month. And then we end off with 2 dot grid note pages. So another question that I often get is that are there note pages right at the end of the planner? And the answer is for our planner, we don't, because in our user survey, we have asked, do you prefer like option A, do you want to have all the note pages all at the back, or do you prefer option B, which is to kind of weave them in between the months, and option B has always won. So after June, we have our mid-year reflections, and after December, we have our year-end reflections. So both of these are very, very similar, just that one is after 6 months and one is after 12 months. So we used to only have our year-end reflections, but we realized that it is a little bit too long to only look back at your goals after 12 months. So we decided to introduce the mid-year one as well, and you guys really loved it. So this helps you to kind of take a step back and look at your resolutions that you set at the beginning of the year, and think about whether how you're doing on those goals, and whether these are goals that you want to stick with, or maybe you want to realign yourself to some new goals. So other than that, after the year-end reflections, we have our 2027 year at a glance calendar. So this is again another improvement that we had from last year. So for our 2025 planners, we introduced this 2026 preview concept where we had the monthly calendar of the first 4 months of 2026, so that you can start to jot down events for the next year before you get your next year's planners. But the feedback was that it is not quite enough. So for 2027, we have designed it in a new way, where we now have space for you to jot down little events for every single month, not just for the first 4 months. And I can't wait to hear what you think. I think this would be much more useful for you guys. And then lastly, we go into this new feature as well. So this is called Year in Pixels. And it is something that I've seen the Bujo bullet journaling community do quite a lot. So over here, you have every single day of the year, and you can use it to track anything over the year. So maybe you want to track this really important habit to you. You can put down like exercise, and then for every day that you exercise, you can put it in here. So similar to your monthly habit tracker, but it is over the entire year. So it's for like a really big important goal to you. So you can not just check it off, it could also be things like pages that you have read. So you can put down pages you have read, and then every day you can write it down. Or it can be like a mood tracker. This is really popular in the Pujo community, where they have different colors to represent different mood. So maybe red is angry, and then happy is yellow, and then they can just color it in. And then at the end of the year, you kind of have this big picture view of how your year has gone. And by using the different colors, it also makes like a really cute, pretty spread as well. So this is a new feature that we introduced just this year, so I'm really excited to see how you guys will use it. And that is the end of the planner. So since you've watched through the end of the video, I wanted to show you some of our other products that are launching that I have not actually showed on Insta yet. So first we have these elastic book bands, and we have two different designs. This is a lemon one, and this is a floral one. And they help you to keep your planner closed, so if you're tossing it around in your bag, you don't have to worry about the book opening and the pages getting folded. It just keeps them all together. And it also has two pen holders, so you can also keep your pen with you safely, and you don't have to be digging around your bag anymore. Or maybe you have multiple journals or notebooks, you can also use this to kind of put them all together. And this does fit both the A5 and the B6. And then the second product that I'm super excited about is our sticker books. So this is a completely new product for us. We have two different versions. One is for planners specifically, and one is for decoration. So in each sticker book, we have 10 different sticker sheets of different stickers. So for example, for the planner one, we have meeting, we have deadlines, appointment, remember. So it's just a whole page of remember stickers in different colors, important. And then the other side we have priority, ribbon bookmarks, corner bookmarks, done, and cancelled. So if you know, we also sell separate sticker sheets on our store, but this gives you everything, all of the important ones in like a little bundle that is super easy to bring around, and you just have so many you can use to your heart's content. So the other one is called decoration. So you can use this not just for your planner, but if you use a journal, or if you do scrapbooking, you do junk journaling, this could be fun for you. So we have all kinds of decoration stickers. We have hearts, stars, mood, simple ribbons, fancy ribbons, flowers, leaves, doodles, blocks, and washi tape. So these are super cute, very colorful, for you to add a pop of color, add just some personality to your planner spreads. So if the essential stickers or the shape stickers that we give together with your planners are not enough for you, you're someone who uses a lot of stickers, you love to decorate, then you would really want to look at getting these stickers. So all of this will be launched together with the 2026 planners, and I will also be having a bundle where you can get these two sticker books, one of the designs of the elastic book bands of your choice, and also one of the 2026 planners of your choice, together in like a discounted bundle price. So you can look out for that. So thanks for watching this video. I hope that it has helped you to better understand some of our features and to understand which planner is right for you. And just let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for your support. Okay.